And we are back.
For more Nappa baldness.
Let's kill him. Let's kill them all.
Nappa versus Nappa or Nappa versus... Ooh, this will be...
What would happen if Nappa versus Nappa happened?
I don't know, but...
I guess it's clone Nappa, huh?
I kind of want to see what Nappa has to say when he finds all the people that he just killed. Apologies for what? Wait.
Well, I mean, they weren't themselves, remember?
Oh, yeah,
and then Frieza beat him, and then they were like, oh, shit, it's real Frieza, shit. That's not good. They're fighting in a volcano? I don't quite remember what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember either. I know I've been watching a lot more Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super since we started playing this game, though.
Let's have him perform his dance of joy to show how delighted he is that Frieza's back.
He's not delighted to see us back? Come on, man. It's been a couple days since we played this.
Did Raccoon really sound like that?
I mean...
That fucking slow?
So, back when we watched Dragon Ball Z, Toonami aired the original Ocean dub all the way up to, like, the Frieza saga when Goku first arrives, and then they switched it over to the Funimation dub. Funimation had been dubbing it since, I believe, the beginning of, like, End of the Saiyan saga or something like that. They said, like, something like episode 36 or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I think that episode was longer in the... But I know the Ocean dub went even further to, like, the Android saga, but they did a weird split up.
Okay.
So, at some point, Goku and all the voices just change at, like, the point where Goku arrives.
Raccoon just sounded like he was like dumb as shit, like Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
I will say I prefer the Ocean dubs version of the Ginyu Force, because that's the one that I grew up on. It's really weird because
I think that's the only one I know. Then
my interpretation of the Ginyu Force and a lot of the like original characters are from the Ocean dub, so I have this weird timeline of what I interpret as Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Like I prefer the Bruce Faulkner music, and then I prefer the Rock the Dragon that came from the Ocean dub.
Yeah, I remember that.
Eventually, I think Funimation ended up buying Rock the Dragon to put in because it was so popular, but I can't remember.
I liked Rock the Dragon,
so-
and then when I heard the other ones, I was like, "This isn't as exciting."
Yeah, so
Like,
when I've been...
it leaves something to be desired a little
It
bit.
does. So I've been watching Dragon Ball again, and I love the original soundtrack for Dragon Ball.
Just the original Dragon Ball?
Yeah, just the original Dragon Ball. And going back, I was like, oh, cool, I can watch some DBZ episodes since I have the Funimation Now
Oh yeah, that's right.
thing. But the problem is, it doesn't have any of the Bruce Faulkner music, which to me just is so much of what I like about Dragon Ball Z.
So it's the Funimation only and not the actual Ocean version?
Well, the problem is Funimation only has the rights because they, it's an agreement with Toei, who owns Dragon Ball, the anime. They, what is it? So they only have the rights to stream that version of it. But if you buy the Blu-ray, it gives you the option of like, hey, you can have the original music with Funimation's dub, or you can have the Funimation dub with the Bruce Faulkner music.
That's actually really cool. The fact that they add that in as like an extra feature.
So,
because I mean, I'd hate to be like, fuck, I wanna get Dragon Ball Z, but I only want the Ocean version. Like, I need to find that, and then you're sitting there looking at the DVDs like, shit, is this the Ocean one, or is that the Funimation, or? So I would be pissed off if I bought an entire series and it turns out it wasn't the fucking one I wanted.
I don't know if you can buy the Ocean dub ones anymore. You have to find like an old version because they dubbed the first couple movies like Tree of Might, and the second one, which is like World's Strongest, I believe, which is the one with. Oh man, I was obsessed with the movies and all that stuff when I was a kid.
Was the Garlic Saga based off of a movie? Garlic Jr.
Yes, the very first Dragon Ball Z movie was the Garlic Jr. movie.
Okay.
And then the Garlic Jr. saga was based on that, but both of them aren't considered canon because they kind of work. Garlic Jr. movie is one of the few movies that can fit in the timeline. There's some...
But they just decided not to make it.
There's some plot holes. For instance, Krillin is surprised that you have a kid, but he met the kid at the beginning of the Dragon Ball movie as well.
Okay.
At that Dragon Ball Z movie. So there's a couple of discrepancies like that, but overall, you could take that movie and you could put it in the timeline.
You could make it fit if
you could make it fit. You could take that one little like plot hole out of it, and then it's fine. Then everything else about it kind of works. You could say like, wow, I didn't know Gohan could be that strong. It's like, well, you kind of could, because if you watch that movie, you already get he's the one who sends Garlic Jr. into the dead zone.
Okay.
But all the other movies, there's almost no way that they fit in. They're fun what if
Yeah, that's the one with like Cooler and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they could fit in, but it just doesn't make sense timeline-wise. For instance, the Janinima movie, which is like the 13th movie with Gogeta.
The what movie?
It's the one with like the red and purple guy who they're in like fighting in a pink area.
Purple.
He has
Are
like
they
a
the
sword.
demon ones?
He has a sword, and they're in hell, and they're kind of fighting around all these big giant gems.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up between episodes.
Like that one could fit into the Boo saga, but it wouldn't make sense for them going, oh yeah, Boo's attacking the Earth. You know, we better fight this thing right now.
What I don't understand is how everything fits in with the new stuff, like with Super, and then like that pink-haired Goku, like he stole his body or something.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I know that is. I know that it's part of the Future Trunks saga. So Trunks comes back, like Future Trunks comes back.
Is it a separate timeline then?
So the way that Dragon Ball Z works, from my understanding, is there are 3 timelines, and there are 13.
So kind of like Legend of Zelda then.
Yeah, there are 3 timelines, and there's 13 universes. So from Trunks' timeline, all the Z Warriors died, all this kind of stuff, and eventually, in that universe, Cell ended up killing Trunks. I mean, he was going to, but Trunks came back in time and knew that Cell was going to arrive, so he prevented that future from happening. But Cell is from a 3rd timeline, Perfect Cell, where the androids didn't exist, and that he did end up killing Trunks and taking his time machine to come back in time,
fuck everyone up,
and try and get those Android 18 and Android 17 in order to be on Perfect Cell. But then they made it even crazier when they're like, oh yeah, and there's also 13 universes as well. And I still don't understand the broad
it seems a little confusing.
of all of it. But it's anime, and if I can keep up with Kingdom Hearts, I can dissect. I can eventually dissect what Dragon Ball Z is doing. I mean, I'm into DC Comics where multiverses are a thing, so
you know what?
It's not too hard.
I think Kingdom Hearts just puts shit out there and lets people try and put it together, and they go, "Yeah, that was intentional."
I'd be like, as someone that didn't follow it, I can see why you'd say that. But as someone who's been playing all the games, they do a good job of connecting. They get a little too into their own storytelling, unfortunately, which causes some things to feel like, okay, now everything's connected, but everything does make sense. But as an outsider, and you look at and you see, oh, so okay, Kingdom Hearts 1, I get it, I understand what's going on.
Simple enough.
You're like, Kingdom Hearts 2, you're like, what's going on? And then you slowly kind of piece together. It's like, oh, right, Chain of Memories. Okay, sure, fine. Still not that confusing. A little confused.
It would have just been a little better if they told it.
Guaranteed.
If they told it in order.
Yes.
Because then you're like, you go to 2 and you're like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. It's like, oh, well, you need to play Chain of Memories or whatever. And it's like, that fills in all the plot holes. It's like, well, that came out after. So did they just leave those plot holes in, or were they really planned? Like, I don't know. It feels sloppy, even if it was planned for a lot of that stuff. I'm like, wow, that kind of makes me feel like this is just made to fill in the plot holes rather than reveal stuff that they hinted at, you know?
I will say that
seems retroactive.
Kingdom Hearts 2 and how they've kind of filled it in
destroyed Cell
afterwards. I do feel like most of it was planned. You play Kingdom Hearts 2, and then you play Birth by Sleep and even Dream Drop Distance. There's a lot of stuff that they set up in Kingdom Hearts 1 that they do end up paying off. Now, I do believe at a certain point, they start looking for connections and then making them up as they go, but they find a good way to fit them in.
Okay.
It's not the greatest story that's ever told. It's convoluted, it's kind of insane, but that's the thing that I love about it, is it's so stupid and so up its own ass in a lot of ways that it makes it enjoyable just to see kind of where it's going. It's very much anime at its highest level. I don't
know, highest level ridiculous. I wouldn't say highest level.
Highest level of ridiculous. Like when you take those animes where it's just like, okay, everything, or comic books where everything is just insane.
But I think that's why a lot of people didn't get into Marvel until recently, is because unless you were in it from the beginning, or you had like a mentor teach you everything back in the day, because they didn't have internet and stuff. It'd be almost impossible to fit in.
There was no way, which is why they would reboot it every now and then. Well,
Cell just moved, but I mean, like, it looked like his like little helmet thing was about to fucking chip off. Like it had like a crack through it. I was like, oh fuck, is that like armor and not his actual skin?
I mean, it's kind of like a bug. It's like
it's a
armor.
carapace.
I was gonna say something about Kingdom Hearts again, but I'm trying to remember.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out.
I mean, that has me excited for it. But there was something about plot-wise I was gonna bring up, but now I'm struggling to remember.
Was it about the new one or the old one?
No, it wasn't so much about the new one. It's about how they've kind of gone about the plot. I do like some of those games are ridiculous. There's a lot of games in that series that are completely superfluous.
It just seems like they're on so many levels at this point, and it's like this person is this person's shadow form of this person, which is the heartless of that form, and this is the void of that, and those two voids equal the heartless of this, and then if these three Keyblade Masters come in on this area, then they form Sora's bad side, which is the opposite of. It's like, shut the fuck up! I shouldn't have to do math in order to figure out how these people come together.
Yeah.
You don't need this many fucking people in here.
The bummer about it is, if it was an anime series, it would probably work a lot better in a sense.
Probably, like if it was long form.
It was long form,
and it left you to like realize these things over time. But it's in a small game. It's like, this is too much shit. This is too much.
It's very complicated in its sense because there's about 4 core games that you have to play to understand what's going on. Everything else is really like extra material. Like, for instance, Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and then I would say Dream Drop Distance and Chain of Memories. Those are the only 5 games in the series you have to play to get the whole scope of what's going on. And if you want to break it down even further, you could say Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 1. You play those 3 games, and you just watch maybe even cutscenes of the other ones, you're fine. Or you could even play those 3 games and fill in the gaps yourself.
I guess.
It's unfortunate that it's that crazy, but they have created, I think, an interesting plot. It's a little overcomplicated. It does get a little too into itself.
It just seems like it has too much fat, and if they just trimmed a little of it...
No, yes, I agree.
It's like, okay, cool. This is a lot stronger.
So a lot of people make fun of the dub of Kingdom Hearts, and I did find out the reason why some of the delivery and some of that stuff is so off. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos. I'm sorry that I can't remember who it was. It was somewhere in my list of different guys that I follow on YouTube. But he went down and he showed clips of the Japanese version versus the English version, and it's a problem that they have with dubs in general when you're trying to stay completely faithful to the adaptation instead of like changing things.
Well, if you're saying faithful, I mean like some words have, so there's a lot more syllables in Japanese words.
Exactly.
So it's like their mouth's gonna move a lot more than just saying 1 or 2 things in English.
Right. And the problem with that was when they do Kingdom Hearts and when they dub it, they do a direct translation and they just have the lips animate accordingly to that, which is why you get weird line deliveries.
Yeah, because it don't make much sense because they're trying to fill in.
Right, the pacing is just completely off and completely different. There's a scene that he shows from with the 3 Musketeers where it's like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Sora, and they kind of do one for all for one kind of deal. And the pacing in Japan sounds fine. It just flows, it works. Nothing about the timing feels awkward, and then they show the English dub version and go, oh, that's why this is so weird. Not only is it weird dialogue that they're saying, kind of like a Star Wars movie, but coupling that with the fact that everything else doesn't really, like the flow is gone as well. It completely connects together. It's like, oh, that's why those scenes are so awkward. Oh, that's why this is like how it is. It's like, man.
I guess I prefer it to be not that. You know, I'd rather be like, okay, it doesn't need to lip sync perfectly if we're just. I guess it's like, again, like cutting the fat. It's trimming it down. I get it. It was originally voiced in a different thing. It doesn't need to fit perfectly. It'd be great if it did.
Which is why it's so important to have good, I believe, dubbers for video games,
voice actors and stuff.
Not even so much dubbers, but script translators. Which I believe this game has done really well, because I guarantee it's different in the Japanese version.
Oh fuck yeah!
If you're listening to it.
How about next time?
Yeah, next time we'll mess around with Cell and try and figure out what button it is to change my team, because I can't remember. There we go.
All right, guys, next time, beep bop boop. So Cell and Frieza are together, and 18's gonna go try and fucking kill him.
Nice.
As her link test to see if she can get a human soul inside of her.
I kind of want to switch from Nappa, but at the same time, wait, did we do beep bop boop?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We're in B-roll.
All right. That's how tired I am today.